Ladies and gentlemen, my name's StrifeTech, and I'm here to ask and answer one simple question. Is it worth your time? On trial today, Blasphemous. Released in September of 2019 by the Game Kitchen, this is a 2D Metroidvania game at heart with some heavy influence from Dark Souls. The only other game this company has to their name is a point-and-click one called The Last Door.
And thus, guilt, repentance, mourning, and every pain of the soul of all kind were visibly and tangibly manifested everywhere and in all of us. Sometimes in the form of blessing and grace, sometime in the form of punishment and corruption. That divine will, equally pious and cruel, which we could not and will never be able to unravel, was called the miracle.
Trapped in a cycle of death and rebirth caused by the miracle, you are known as the Penitent One. It is your destiny to free the land of this terrible fate whilst unraveling your own place in this story. As you explore this nightmarish world, you'll encounter others who have been affected by the miracle, each with their own story and each with a possible reward. The character design and voice acting of all of these are top-notch, and I would highly recommend chatting with all of them and moving along their stories. Each of them pull you deeper into the world of Xovia.
Two faces greet you, Penitent One. My name is Nacimiento. Look at my chest, upon which an ancient visage grows older and older. A face that does not speak, that does not think, while mine becomes younger, such that I now look like a child.
If you've played any of the other Dark Souls-like games, then you know what you're in for. Cryptic text, minimal story, and more questions than answers.
The sound does not cease. It creeps on these forgotten walls, and no one can determine its origin or its obscure destiny. For the love of the High Wills, silence it, for I have long yearned for it.
But the game frames it and presents it in just the right way that you want to move forward and you want to know more. So be sure to read everything, including all the flavor text on the items, and talk to everyone. Now, the Souls-like experience doesn't end with the story. It's also heavily embedded in the gameplay itself. Upon death, you return to the last shrine you rested at, but your corpse is left where you died. You are now restricted to the amount of spells you can use and receive less tears or currency per kill, so there's an incentive to retrieve your body, but it isn't as harsh as Dark Souls. Combat is stamina based with a good emphasis on the parry system. There are various magical spells that can be used depending on what the situation calls for, or honestly whatever you feel like using. Along with this, you have an item system in which you can equip various trinkets that also boost your character's abilities in the areas you desire. The combat is solid. There's an upgrade tree that lets you increase some of your abilities. I personally would have liked just a little more variety, but that's really getting nitpicky. I found myself switching between different magical spells and equipment depending on the situation and never felt locked into a certain build. Being a 2D game, there is a heavy emphasis on platforming, so much so that in one of the free DLCs, it's all about platforming and reaching the end in a certain amount of time. The controls are very responsive and jumping around just feels great. The deaths you're going to experience are all gonna feel like they're your fault rather than an issue with the game. But in general, I never once had a complaint about the gameplay itself, other than maybe how bad I was at it. 2D pixel art. Yes, art. Just look at the detail we have here. The backgrounds, the bosses, the characters, everything looks incredible. So much painstaking detail was put into every bit of this. Now, you pair this with the music and it makes for an amazing combo. And the music is atmospheric and it fits so well with the theme itself. It isn't necessarily a soundtrack I'm going to pull up and listen to later, but that's fine. It did what it needed to do, which was support and enhance the game. And it does it so very well. So, is it worth your time? Very much so. I put in a good 17 hours, rolled credits, and then after I started poking around the wiki, I found out there's a lot of things I missed, some complete side quests even. And then for replayability, after you complete the game, there's a boss gauntlet that opens up along with a new game plus, which adds a little bit extra difficulty. You get a lot for your money, and all of it is really, really good. My name's been StrifeTech, and thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, by all means hit that like and subscribe button, throw a comment, share it around. All of it helps people find me here on YouTube. And I'll see you next time on Is It Worth Your Time?